And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment for today, which is going to be going over my rest of the trade deadline predictions. Of course, the trade deadline is going to be ending tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So tomorrow when I go live at 3:30 to 4:30, I'll be going over all the massive trades that happen then. But I did want to predict the guys that are still available in the market here, where I do think they end up getting traded, why, and there's a lot of names on this list, so I'm just going to get straight into it. First off, we have Tarek Skubal. I don't think he's traded. I kind of think this is all just noise. I think the Tigers are just doing their due diligence because they have such a valuable player here, because of how disappointing this team has been. I still don't think he's traded, and I really don't think it's going to be likely at all. Garrett Crochet, originally I thought he was a lock to get traded to the Orioles, but with the news that he is only going to pitch in October with an extension and wants to remain a starter, I think that it doesn't make sense for the White Sox to trade him now. I don't think they'll get the appropriate value they want out of him because of this, and I think it makes more sense to wait for the offseason to trade him because you'll have a lot more teams available to get him. A lot more teams will have their prospect capital sorted out, be able to know what direction they're going in. I think that overall, that kind of trade can wait for the offseason. Luis Robert, also not traded. Again, same thing. I don't think that the White Sox will get the appropriate value for him at this trade deadline. Mason Miller, last one I promise, not traded. I don't think that he was ever going to get traded. The A's want to trade him, even though I think they should. And now with him going on the injured list after punching the table, I don't think he's going to get traded. So those are the four big guys that I want to talk about that I don't think we're getting traded. But after this, I promise I'm going to have some real predictions. So first off, Jack Flaherty. I think Jack Flaherty ends up getting traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Flaherty was actually scratched from his start today, so it seems like a trade is close. Not sure to where, but I think that the Dodgers make a ton of sense for Flaherty. He's from LA. Dodgers need a frontline starting pitcher. Even with acquiring Edman and Kopech, they desperately need a starting pitcher, and I think Flaherty makes a lot of sense. I'm sure they'd also reach a long-term deal with him in free agency if they traded for him. Again, is from LA, is a frontline starting pitcher, one of the best guys available on this market. Dodgers have the prospect capital to really get any player they want, so I think it'll make a lot of sense for Flaherty to go to the Dodgers, and that's where I do have him going. Yandy Diaz of the Rays is next. I have him going to the Texas Rangers. When there was an article about if the Rangers were going to buy or sell or not, and they said they were going to buy, Yandy Diaz was a name specifically mentioned by Ken Rosenthal in the article about a player they could trade for, and I think it makes all the sense in the world to be able to trade for Yandy Diaz if you are the Texas Rangers. Diaz is exactly what they need, a right-handed bat that can play first base, that can play DH as well. I think he makes a lot of sense for this Rangers lineup. They want to buy, they want to go all in, and I think getting Diaz, an older player who still has years of control, is a veteran bat, has experience in the playoffs as well, makes a lot of sense for Texas, and Tampa's obviously shown a willingness to move him with all the rumors surrounding him, obviously trading as well for other significant players on their roster. So I think it's kind of about, for the Rays, kind of phasing out the old generation, bringing in the new guys like they do every 2 or 3 years or so. So I think getting Diaz would be a really good move by this Rangers team, and I think that's where he ends up going. Yusei Kikuchi is next. Blue Jays are selling. Kikuchi is a rental starting pitcher and makes all the sense in the world to get traded. I think he gets traded to the Minnesota Twins. They have consistently been one of the most talked about teams for Kikuchi. To get him, I think it makes all the sense in the world. There has been some rumors that they won't trade for anyone significant at the deadline because of financial constraints, but I think in the end, common sense will prevail, and that Kikuchi will end up being traded to the Twins. Twins need a starting pitcher. Makes a lot of sense, and yeah, the Twins have experience knowing how to deal with Japanese pitchers as well. So I think Kikuchi makes all the sense in the world to go to the Twins, and I think that's where he does end up getting traded here, trying to win that AL Central. Next, we are going to be talking about Brent Rooker of the A's. Brent Rooker I originally had going to the Seattle Mariners. I thought that would make a lot of sense, but with recent rumors going about, I do not think he will be traded. Apparently, the A's really want to hang on to Brent Rooker for some odd reason. Don't know why. He's a DH. He's older. He has years of control. Teams would give up a ton to get him, and you're obviously rebuilding, so I don't know why you're not trading him, but A's are going to A, right? I mean, what are you going to do about it? So I think they should trade him. I don't think they will because of the rumors saying they don't really want to, so I don't think he will be traded here. Tanner Scott, the best closer on the market, I have him going to the Kansas City Royals. Royals desperately need bullpen help. I think they go all in trying to get that help and get Tanner Scott here. I think it makes all the sense in the world, and I think the Royals will recognize that this team is absolutely fantastic, and trading for a closer of the caliber of Tanner Scott makes them such a better team, and I think that's where he goes. A lot of teams are going to be going for him. Dodgers, Yankees, basically all the big market competitive teams, but I think that overall Tanner Scott will end up going to the Kansas City Royals. Next, we have Luis Rengifo. I don't think he'll be traded. I think that there just isn't a clear fit for Luis Rengifo in the trade market. Very good player, but with a year of control after this as well. The Angels don't have to trade him just to trade him. They can shop him in the offseason as well and then trade him there. So I think that's really what will happen. I think the Yankees make sense, but I don't think he plays good enough defense to really fit for this Yankees team. So I don't think he'll get traded. Pete Fairbanks, there was a lot of rumors swirling that he was traded to the Yankees, but that deal ended up not coming to fruition, and he's still in the Rays, and I don't think he is traded by this Rays team. So a few reasons for that. First of all, an article came out saying that the Rays still view Fairbanks as a big part of their core, and with them wanting to be competitive next year, they want to keep him as the big-time arm in their bullpen, which I get. Also, Fairbanks has a condition, something with him where he can't pitch in the cold. So there's a lot of teams that pitch there's a lot of teams in the cold weather nowadays. I mean, when it's October, what's really going to happen there? So I think that also that complicates things. I mean, if you're the Phillies, for example, who needed a closer before trading for Estevez, you're not going to go top prospects for a guy who can't pitch in your ballpark in October because it's cold outside. So kind of unfortunate there, but I also think that complicates his trade value for Tampa Bay. Next, we have one of the biggest names on the market, Blake Snell. I think Blake Snell ends up getting traded to the New York Yankees. I think that this is going to be the most surprising trade of the deadline, but I think that overall, actually, never mind. I was going to say that the Yankees are probably going to trade for Blake Snell, but the Yankees, according to Bob Nightingale, so that's a question mark, are in extensive trade talks for Jack Flaherty. Wow. I don't know if this is going to come to fruition here, but wow. Trading for Flaherty would be a huge addition here for this Yankees team. Apparently, they would trade Nestor Cortez as well if they land Flaherty, so that's something to watch out for. But I'm still going to go with what I was going to say about Snell, but keep an eye out for Flaherty and the Yankees. Wow, would that be an incredible move for them. I think that Snell gets traded there because the Yankees have shown a ton of interest in him in the offseason. He's friends with Aaron Judge, and apparently Aaron Judge calls the shots with the Yankees organization. So I think that overall, adding Snell to this Yankees team where they know they have to go all in, they've shown interest in the past, he's buddy-buddy with your superstar, I think that trading for Snell makes all the sense in the world for the Yankees. They need a frontline starting pitcher. They might get that with Flaherty, actually, now, who knows? But, yeah, wow. I think Snell gets traded here, but, man, I'm going to have to see if Jack Flaherty gets traded there. Wow. Taylor Rogers of the Giants, I think he gets traded to the Mets. I think Rogers is a very good lefty reliever who also has a huge contract. Mets need both. The Mets can use a lefty reliever. They can take on that contract, which not a lot of teams can do. I think Rogers is a pitcher-perfect fit here. Brian De La Cruz of the Marlins, I think he gets traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think that De La Cruz is a very good young bat, and the Marlins and Pirates have been talked about in trade talks with Jazz Chisholm. So I think pivoting to Brian De La Cruz once Chisholm was traded to the Yankees makes a lot of sense. So De La Cruz would really help out this young Pirates core, and I think that overall it would make a lot of sense for Brian De La Cruz to be able to go to this Pirates team. I think they really do need to get a star bat, and I think De La Cruz would really fit that. John Brebbia of the White Sox, I am going to the Padres. Padres need some bullpen help. They can make sense here. Hector Neris goes to the Yankees, I think. Yankees showed a lot of interest in him in the offseason. Yankees need some bullpen help. Makes sense to me there. Lucas Erceg, one of the top relievers on the market. I have him going to the Red Sox. I don't really know why. Kind of just seems like a Red Sox. I mean, everyone could use bullpen help. I think the Red Sox being able to acquire a controllable bullpen arm at the end of their pen would make a lot of sense, and I think Erceg does end up going there, but that's kind of just a shot in the dark. After that, Trevor Rogers, a controllable starting pitcher from the Marlins, who's had a pretty okay season, but I think has a lot of more potential in that arm as well. I'm going to the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians need a rotation arm, need a controllable one as well. Acquiring Rogers here makes a ton of sense. They have very good pitcher development as well in their past, so I think being able to develop a guy like Trevor Rogers make a ton of sense for them, and I would like this move a lot if I was a Guardians fan. Michael Conforto, I have him going to Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers need a left-handed power bat in the outfield. Conforto can do that. Be that easy. Make a lot of sense. After that, we have Lane Thomas. I have him going to the Philadelphia Phillies. Apparently, the Phillies have said they're done getting outfielders after the Austin Hayes trade, but I don't really believe them. Thomas has been consistently connected to this Phillies team, and I think he would be a great right-handed power fit with this Phillies team. Would really help out a lot, and I think it would make a ton of sense for the Phillies to get him. Not sure if the Nationals would trade him in the division, but is what it is. Elias Diaz, I have him going to the San Diego Padres. Padres need catching help. Diaz is a catcher, veteran, good hitting catcher. Makes a lot of sense here. Taylor Ward, I have him going to the Pirates. The second big outfield bat that I have the Pirates acquiring. Ward is a very solid player, been a very solid player for a long time with this Angels team, and is under control for a good amount of years now with this Pittsburgh team. And I think being able to acquire him would be a really good move. They've been connected to him a lot as well on here, and I think it would be a really good move. You asked about Jake Burger here, Anthony, in the chat. I have him going also to the Pirates. I think that Burger makes a lot of sense for this Pirates team. Is a nice infielder they can buy low on, but also has a ton of potential. I mean, he was really good last year with the White Sox and the Marlins, so I think that Burger makes some sense for them for the Pirates here, but not exactly sure about that. Kind of a shot in the dark, but I think makes some logical sense. Kyle Finnegan, one of the better relief arms on this list. I think he goes to the Texas Rangers. Rangers need some bullpen help. Finnegan would help them there. I had Justin Turner originally going to the Yankees. Obviously, that's not going to happen anymore. Tyler Anderson, I have him going to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers need a veteran starting pitcher and a controllable one at that. And as much as Tyler Anderson probably isn't going to continue how well he's done this year, I think he makes just a lot of sense for this Brewers team, and acquiring him would really make them a much, much better team. So I think that Tyler Anderson makes a ton of sense for this Milwaukee team. Kyle Quantrill, I have him going to the Houston Astros. Astros need a controllable starting pitcher. Kyle Quantrill has had a nice season there in Colorado. Get him into Houston, help him out, get him to help out that depleted pitching staff. I think makes a ton of sense here. Brandon Lau, I don't think he's traded by the Rays. I think they got to keep someone in that infield right, and I think he's been a Ray for a long time. Has kind of become a franchise star there, so I don't think they trade him. Chad Green, I have him going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think just makes some sense there in the back end of that bullpen. Zach Littell, I have him going to the New York Mets. Mets need a starting pitcher. Littell is a starting pitcher. Makes some sense there. And, I think he goes to the Mets. And finally, Mark Canha, I have him going to the Seattle Mariners. Has been connected to the Mariners for the past few years now, whether that's in free agency or the trade rumors. I think it finally comes to fruition, and they add him as a corner veteran bat to help out this young offensive team that needs some help. Have already acquired Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner, but they are not done and need another bat, and I think Canha makes some sense here. So that is my show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. The trade deadline madness has officially begun, as I said, and very, very exciting to be able to talk about all this. I'll talk about more trades tomorrow, all the stuff that's going to happen. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of things that happen tonight. I'm sure a bunch of trades will happen right after I get off stream. So, thank you guys again so much for watching. I love the trade deadline. It's so much fun. Be sure to come here tomorrow and talk about everything that's going on in the trade deadline here with me, 3:30 to 4:30. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to